What's up guys, I'm Chris Doughty, aka Doughtinator. Welcome back to the channel. Live face reveal. This is me, and we're going to commentate on the Race Asylum GT Sport Pro-Am League, round number 5, Dragon Trail Seaside. This is the penultimate round of the championship. Dragon Trail Seaside is it's a formidable track. Imagine Monaco, but much higher speed. On pole we've got Philo, Dynamic Styles in second place, Gecko Racer third, Lucky Bucky fourth. Great qualifying from Lucky Bucky. Baz in fifth on your screen right now. We're going to look through the field now to see what we can see. He's got the pit crew there, some guys wandering up and down the pit lane. Not quite that interested in the start of this race it seems, but it looks like we've got the pit crew on the pit wall and they're looking to control this race from the strategic point of view. So They Hate Melty is in 6th position. Looking to the front of the field now, side by side into turn 1, Dynamic Styles and Philo. Who's going to get to the inside there? It looks like the inside is with Philo, so will he get through first? It looks like he's going to go through in the lead. Baz has managed to make a huge move there into 3rd place. Melty up to 4th, Gecko Racer down to 5th. He's going to come down through this corner here. This is a 50-minute endurance race. 2 different compounds of tyres are required by all the drivers in this race. And we've got down the field now, Ian Eva in 6th position, Geber is in 7th, Mew Mew in 8th position. Mew Mew is currently in the top 10 in Race C time trial this week. Fantastic from Mew Mew so far, and we're going to look for some battles ahead. Looks like they're starting to fall in line. This is absolutely ideal for them, going through Death Chicane in this race. Damage is enabled, so the danger in Death Chicane is amplified now, as Dynamic Styles got a bit wrong on the brakes there, and Baz has made that move. So Baz is now up to 2nd position, and we're going to go through Death Chicane for the first time. High risk, high reward, and Philo's through safe, Baz is through safe. We're going to go through the order. Is anything going to happen through the Death Chicane for this first lap? And it looks like everyone is through safe for the first lap through the Death Chicane. Fantastic driving from all these drivers here. Let's get back to the front of the field now. So Philo is in the front of the field, starting on the super soft tyres. Baz is on the super soft tyres also. Super soft tyres for Dynamic Styles, soft tyres for Melty. So slight tyre disadvantage at the start of the race. Gecko Racer is in the slipstream, is going to put a move on these into turn 1. It looks like he's going to just wait behind there. He is on the super soft tyres for Gecko Racer. Fantastic driving in the previous rounds from Gecko Racer, it has to be said, and Melty had the tyre disadvantage. Dynamic Styles with maybe a mistake there. Baz, and it's cost him a lot of time there, so something's happened through that first chicane, and Melty is challenging for a top 3 position. So great stuff, great battling here from Dynamic Styles and Melty. It looks like Melty is going to take that position. Melty up to 3rd position, fantastic drive on the soft tyres. So that Mercedes is really working out for Melty so far this race. I'm going to switch down the order now to a fantastic, huge 4-way battle here. Geber 6th position. Ian Evo looks like he's going to go to the inside and make that move happen. 3-way battle ahead now. Dynamic Styles is getting involved. Melty is on the soft tyres, so he's going to have a bit of a tyre disadvantage through Death Chicane now. Are we going to see any casualties? And they're going to flow through there quite safe, I've got to say. Sensible driving from these drivers so far. And Gecko Racer is going to go to the inside of Melty into the final corner, and it looks like he's going to go to the inside, get that move done. Was it a slight lock up there for Melty? Geber is also coming up through the field. It's got to be said, the field isn't spreading out as much as I expected it to be. Near the front, Philo still has the advantage. He's looking to make a break for it, and he's got a huge gap actually. Baz is running solidly in 2nd place. It looks like side by side into the braking zone. Melty has put a move back on Gecko Racer. Fantastic battle from these drivers here. The power in that Mercedes seems to be quite significant. Looking down, Geber looks like he's looking for a move on Dynamic Styles, and it's absolutely full of action in this race so far. Let me know in the comments below or in the live chat if you're enjoying this race so far. Thank you for joining in, thank you for watching this live premiere. Really good to have you on board. We've got to say a big thank you to all these drivers in this Race Asylum Pro-Am League. They've produced some fantastic racing over these last few rounds. I'm going to go down the order a little bit now. So we've got Lucky Bucky in 7th position, and someone's wide ahead there. Dynamic Stars, a massive crash. Ran wide at the top of the hill, and I was going to catch in with Sean, it seems. Huge damage for Dynamic Stars. That's going to need some pit repairs for Dynamic Stars there. Grandpa Goes Gaming in that significantly famous now Grandpa Goes Gaming McLaren F1. He's looking to get some solid laps in there and keep up the speed through Death Chicane. How's he going to get through on lap number 3 quite safely? Looking very good through that chicane. Sean in 11th. We've got Mew Mew in 10th position. Ian Evo with, yes, severe damage for Ian Evo, crawling back to the pits. So he's just going to get off the racing line, it seems. And Mew Mew's going to get through there. So pit stops required. Mew Mew with damage as well. Absolutely wrecked that car. So there's a lot of people with damage going into the pits now. Grandpa's Goes Gaming will hugely benefit from all these people in the pit lane now. So yeah, huge pit stops required. So that's going to promote Heatseeker up the field. Mackie RS is also going to be promoted through them incidents now. Let's get back to the front of the field to see what's going on. And yeah, Philo is at the front, running solid lap times. Fastest lap of the race so far for Philo. Baz running solidly in 2nd place. Melty seems to be making a break for it in 3rd. That Mercedes is really well suited to this track. This is the best we've seen Melty in this series so far. And Gecko Racer in that Porsche. It's a solid car to drive. Tuning is enabled for this series, so drivers can change downforce, dampers, springs, roll bars, all of these items to improve their car's performance. So Lucky Bucky's looking incredibly threatening towards Gecko Racer now. So fantastic so far from Lucky Bucky as he goes purple in the middle sector. So he's on for the best lap time of the race so far through Death Chicane, and he actually gets it nailed through there. He's got the slipstream of Gecko Racer, and he's going to put a move into the final corner with that powerful Aston Martin. He's going to put a move into the final corner. He's going to have some slipstream advantage. Is this going to be the fastest lap of the race for Lucky Bucky? He's going to run to the line now. What's the lap time going to be? It is purple on the timing screen, 1:36.6. Let's see if that is. It is the fastest lap of the race. Absolutely fantastic stuff there from Lucky Bucky. He is on fire right now on those super soft tyres, and he's looking to make it forwards towards maybe They Hate Melty, as Melty is slow. Was that a crash? Melty is losing positions. So Lucky Bucky up to 3rd position. That is unbelievable stuff. Fantastic driving from Lucky Bucky. Let's look down the order to see what's going on. Kevman, not seen him so far this race. He's keeping himself quiet, but running in a solid 6th position. Good stuff so far from Kevman. Ant Smasher, again, quiet race so far. Running in that mid-pack, keeping out of trouble and running in 7th position. Superb so far. Gorilla Gaz in 8th position. Again, another good race from Gorilla Gaz so far. Grandpa Goes Gaming in 9th position in that McLaren F1. Heatseeker in 10th. Mackie RS in 11th. And then we've got the first of our early pit stoppers. So we've got Sean in 12th position. Ian Evo versus Mew Mew in 13th and 14th position. So it's got a bit of a battle going on there. Ian Evo just dipping a wheel to the inside of the curb. Mew Mew's looking to get the switchback. That Porsche doesn't have the top speed advantage. The Corvette is a very fast car in a straight line. So let's see how this one plays out into the braking zone. And it looks like he's not going to get that move done. Dynamic Styles with early severe damage has made a pit stop, and he's looking to recover from there. And then Giba also, I think, involved with some early damage, and he's going to look to recover his race from there. So Philo to the front of the field. Philo does have a half a second penalty, maybe most likely track limits, but that will burn off as time goes on. It looks like Philo has just also set the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:36.4. Very, very solid lap time there. So it's got to be said, Philo is looking to stamp his mark on this race and get back to those winning ways. Baz with a solid drive so far. It looks like a lonely 2nd place. fast lap times for Baz, consistent lap times. It's exactly what's needed. Lucky Bucky now with a bit of space in 3rd position, and Gecko Racer in 4th position. All these drivers looking to get some solid lap times in, some consistency. Kevman in 5th position, and he's looking again to get some solid, consistent lap times in. It's great to see the cars with their lights on. The time of day that was chosen for this particular race looks fantastic. Always love to see the ultra-realistic graphics in GT Sport. As through the Death Chicane goes Ant Smasher. Solid lap times so far. Gorilla Gaz running solidly in 7th position, and Grandpa goes gaming up to 8th. So has there been an error from somebody? Melty has dropped down the order quite a bit. An early contender for a podium. No damage on the car, although he's got new tyres. I think he's picked up damage at some point and pitted for new tyres. Is he going to be fueled to the end of the race? I'm not sure about that. He's going to put a move onto Mackie RS. Looks to the inside. Has Mackie RS got damage? That was a lot of overspeed there that Melty had, and it's more than just Mackie RS with damage. Is he going to pit to fix that damage, or is he going to carry on? Melty with a shake of the car, maybe a little misunderstanding there between Melty and Mackie RS. Let's look to the front of the field, try and find some battles on track now. Looks like Baz is solidly in 2nd. Philo's still with that half-second penalty. I don't think that's a new half-second penalty, he just not burned it off yet. And his last lap time was again another personal best lap time. Not just personal best, fastest lap of the race. And looking back towards Baz, is maybe 0.6 up on Baz compared to last time. Through Death Chicane for Philo, a little bit of swaz on corner exit, through Death Chicane for Baz, absolutely inch perfect through there. Lucky Bucky is going to go through Death Chicane again. Gecko Racer through Death Chicane, absolutely perfect. Kevman nicely done through there. Ant Smasher with a lot of space, giving it a very sensible line through there. Gorilla Gaz. All these drivers paying a lot of respect to Death Chicane in this race with damage enabled. Death Chicane will actually be death. Unlike daily races where you will just ghost out and recover without damage, it's a significant penalty for making a mistake at this infamous chicane of death. Sean through there nicely as well. Heatseeker with it, and we have got a death at Death Chicane. That is severe damage for Heatseeker, and that's going to need some pit repairs to fix that. Melty looks like got through okay. Mackie RS through okay, and Ian Evo versus Mew Mew. The battle is still going on. That Porsche is lacking top speed, and with the slipstream, he should have a shot. Mew Mew with a bit of swaz on corner exit. So, in fact, Ian Evo's on the medium tyres, so Mew Mew does have a tyre advantage, but he's not able to make that work just yet. Into turn 1, let's see if Mew Mew can look for a move. They will be fastly approaching Mackie RS, who is carrying damage. This is going to play a part. This is for position. There's no need for Mackie RS to make this easy for the drivers approaching. But sensibly so, he does let them through. Sensible driving, very considerate from Mackie RS, always good to see. But it looks like Ian Evo slightly has the better of Mew Mew right now. Certainly with regard to the last lap time, a fraction faster. Grandpa Goes Gaming versus Melty. It looks like Melty is making his charge back to his field. Oh, Grandpa Goes Gaming almost loses it at the top of the hill, over the top of the curb, but manages to catch that nicely. And they're going to get onto the brakes into the hairpin corner. Melty is without damage anymore. He's managed to get that fixed, and he's off on his way. That's going to ride with him through Death Chicane. How is he going to get through here with a lift? Oh, a little bit of slide on corner exit, but he managed to keep control of the car. Fantastic stuff there. Sean with damage. There's only one place that's going to come from, and that is going to be Death Chicane. So Sean is going to need to pit for this. If you are watching live along with the premiere, drop an F in the live chat every time you see someone die at Death Chicane. So They Hit Melty is going to get promoted. So this race seems to be all about keeping it clean at Death Chicane. If you have got a drink on the go, make sure every time I say Death Chicane, drink up. Hopefully it's a non-alcoholic beverage, and you'll be all good by the end of this video. Kevman still running sensibly in 5th position. Looks like Kevman is driving within the limits, and that's exactly what you need to do in this race with such high risk. Lucky Bucky is down to 4th with rear damage. This one is unexpected, and he's just sliding through there. So Lucky Bucky's carrying rear damage. I'm not sure where that damage came from, but it looks like he might be able to run with that damage without too much limitation on his lap times. But it does promote Gecko Racer to 3rd position. Let's see if Lucky Bucky, he is going to pit. So it's 14 minutes into the race, nearly 15 minutes, half a tank of fuel used. By my maths, that's 2-stop strategy at least, so fuel seems to be quite heavily used. So luckily for Lucky Bucky, lucky indeed, he can pit for repairs while getting fuel, and also 15, no, he's going to have to pit again. That's not going to work out for him. You see that light bulb moment there in my head as I do my maths and realise that is not going to get him to the end of the race. Kevman up to 4th then. Gecko Racer, solid race so far, not the dominant performance we've seen for the last 2 rounds, but it's going to be good for the championship for him, running in 3rd position. Baz, has to be said, a solid drive so far, looking half a tank of fuel used on these super soft tyres. They seem to be lasting okay, but I think Baz has got his eye in. He's looking to get some consistent lap times to finish this race. Philo still with that penalty, it's slowly burning down, and yeah, he's looking good for fuel as well, a little bit more fuel in than Baz, so he is doing some fuel saving. Let's get down the order now, try and find some battles on track. Grandpa Goes Gaming is in 8th position, again solid drive because not hitting the wall, not picking up the damage, it's all about the damage for this race. Mew Mew is up to 9th, he's over the top of the curve, and he's got past Ian Evo. We've missed that one. So far we're doing a fantastic job of missing every single incident in this race. Apologies for that, but we're trying to do it as a live commentary and get my live reaction. I've not seen this race, I don't know the results, I have no idea what's going on. We're trying to call it as we see it. Now, nearly 17 minutes through the race, Mew Mew is got 3/4 of a tank of fuel. It might be a tall order to get to the end of the race, but both Mew Mew and Ian Evo are closing into the back of Grandpa Goes Gaming. This will be for position. Grandpa Goes Gaming will be fully entitled to battle this one. It doesn't need to be given up, but there is normally a huge pace difference. This is a Pro-Am championship, so we've got some pro drivers and amateur drivers in this championship, and it's good to see them all battling out on the track. Certainly you bring damage into play, and it certainly mixes things up a lot with Death Chicane. Imagine it's Monaco but at 150 miles an hour. So much danger, and they're not closing into Grandpa Goes Gaming that quickly, actually, it's got to be said. But Mew Mew is on the soft tyres. Grandpa Goes Gaming is being closed down now. Is he going to be sensible and not challenge this one, or is he going to go for some battling with Mew Mew and Ian Evo? That McLaren F1 has immense speed down the straight, so it's going to be a problem for Mew Mew, and he's over the top of the curb again as Mew Mew is going to avoiding action for Ian Evo. Fantastic work to avoid Mew Mew spinning there, and they managed to get away with it. There was no damage picked up by Mew Mew, so both drivers there doing awesome to not pick up any damage. So on the live screen now we see Baz to the pits, Baz exiting the pits. He's super soft tyres for Baz. I don't think he has put fuel in, but he's not filled the car, so I think that's Baz's attempt at getting to the end of the race on fuel. Although those super soft tyres may not last the way. Maybe Baz is going for a 2-stop strategy. Let's see how this one plays out. Also, it looks like a pit stop. Yes, a pit stop for Philo as well, to the super soft tyres. I don't think he's putting fuel in the car either. So that promotes Gecko Racer to provisional first position, but he does let Philo through. He has a pit stop behind, and Philo is on the much faster super soft tyres which have barely any use on them. So Philo is essentially one pit stop ahead of Gecko Racer, and then we've got Baz running in third position. He has made a pit stop, one of probably two pit stops. Kevman up to fourth. Great drive so far from Kevman, and those tyres look new. Perhaps Kevman has made a pit stop, but not fueled, so it's likely that Kevman will take another pit stop. Yeah, looking on the feed, there's some slow laps there, so I'm thinking that's a pit stop. It happened off camera, as we just see Gecko Racer actually going to the pits now, so Gecko Racer is going to go to the pits now. Let's see, so it's a change of tyres. What's he going to put on the car, and is he going to fuel the car? This will tell us whether he's going to go to finish the race or not. It might be possible to fill the car and finish the race. Fuel is definitely going in that car, and he's going to be filled, I think, full tank, filled to the end of the race, soft tyres to finish. So that's interesting for us there. Lucky Bucky is just ahead there in fourth position, and it looks like 20 minutes gone. That could be filled to the end of the race. Maybe he's got away with that. We'll see how that one plays out. Let me know in the live chat or the comments below if you think Lucky Bucky is going to the end of the race. It could be. My earlier quick maths may have failed me, because 2 lots of 15 minutes is 30 minutes, and that would have made him to the end of the race. He may need to fuel save, but that's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. A lot of the battles on the track right now are more of a strategic battle with pit stops. So Melty is back up to 6th position. Melty with incredible speed here today. I've got to say, great driving so far. We didn't see what happened with the incidents during the race. Melty, let us know in the comments or the live chat what happened to you. But I've got to say, solid lap times and good performance so far. Battling near the front at the start of the race was great to see. A little bit wide there, exiting, but I think he's got a good drive out there. Ant Smasher in 7th position. A quiet race from Ant Smasher so far, but it's certainly a much better race than round 4. Discussions with Ant Smasher after the race last week. He was disappointed with the way that race went, but that's sometimes how things go. Not every race can be perfect. But looking solid so far. Ant Smasher, good work out there on the track. Mew Mew is in 8th. Ian Evo still battling, and they've managed to get past Grandpa Goes Gaming, but they're not dropping him. So I've got to say, Grandpa Goes Gaming, huge improvements this season as it looks to the inside on Ian Evo. Oh, he just doesn't quite make that work. Manages to keep it going in the right direction, and Gorilla Gaz is going to be threatening for that pass. It looks like the soft tyres on that car have expired, so Grandpa Goes Gaming to the pits. He will fuel to the finish, change them tyres, and get to the end of the race. Dynamic Styles has caught some damage, so maybe that's another incident at Death Chicane. We didn't see that, as we've missed most of the incidents this race so far. That's the nature of the live coverage, but it looks like he's going to carry on with that. He might need to pit for fuel and tyres anyway, so he's going to have to do that one. Gorilla Gaz in 10th position. The car looking very clean, no damage on that car, and a fresh set of tyres, and filled to the end of the race. So Gorilla Gaz will progress through the order as other drivers have to pit. So another one that may have to pit is Ian Evo. Not enough fuel in that car to make the finish, I don't think. And those racing medium tyres, they probably would make it, but I think he needs to pit for fuel. Mew Mew looks like he will be okay for fuel. Ant Smasher probably okay for fuel. Melty might have to pit again. Those soft tyres as well are going to be wearing. Gecko Racer fueled to the finish comfortably on the soft tyres, and he's going to be looking to make an impression into the podium positions. Lucky Bucky, fantastic drive so far. The best drive of the season, I've got to say, for Lucky Bucky, and he's showing what he can do on the track right now. As Mew Mew does pit, we see on the feed Mew Mew is going to fill the car, get some fresh tyres, so that would not have got him to the end of the race. Looking now for some battles on the track. Let's see what we've got. So Mew Mew exiting the pits now on the medium tyres to finish the race. Fueled to the finish in 12th position. Sean ahead on the soft tyres, and he is fueled to the end of the race. And we've got Dynamic Styles versus Gorilla Gaz. Dynamic Styles carrying damage. With tuning enabled, it's really throwing a huge curveball to a lot of these fast drivers that can dominate on daily races with the BOP and tuning, or BOP on and tuning disabled, so fixed setups essentially. Philo, we know, as a bit of a setup guru. He helps everyone in the Race Asylum Discord. If you are looking to get faster in GT Sport, check out the link to the description, link in the description below for the Race Asylum. Discord link is where we can help you get faster in GT Sport. We like to share everything we learn with you all. Yeah, Dynamic Styles is looking good through Death Chicane so far. Slight brush of the corner on the exit, but he gets away with that one. Ian Evo is going to need to pit again. There's not a chance that fuel tank is getting to the end of the race. Ant Smasher looking like he could get to the end of the race. 25 minutes gone in this 50-minute endurance race. Looking forwards to try and find some battles on track now. That could be one here. Mackie RS versus Geber. Mackie RS with a little bit of front damage there. Geber with no damage, some fairly fresh soft tyres on that car, so it looks like Geber could have a tyre advantage. Nicely through Death Chicane, nicely through Death Chicane again from Mackie RS. Yeah, this track is really throwing in some curveballs. The damage you can acquire through this high risk, high reward Death Chicane is huge. So Heatseeker, we've not seen much from him. He's got some rear damage being carried with that in that Lexus there. Philo still with a 0.4 second penalty. I'm not sure if that's a newly acquired penalty or if it's just not quite burned off yet. He will need to pit, so it looks like he's going for a two-stop strategy. I'm not sure where that will pop out with. Baz is a little way behind. We've not got any live gaps. GT Sport is not giving us that information in this replay camera. Kevman in third position. It's got to be said, superb drive from Kevman so far. He's doing everything right. He is yet to pit, so he will need to pit. That will drop him down a little bit, but Kevman running high there in third position. Good to see him on again. We missed him last week, and it's good to see him back on. I think there were some connection issues last week that prohibited him from getting into the lobby, but it's good to see him battling again, and he's running very high in third position. Lucky Bucky with that fourth position. It's looking like he could be going to the end of the race. Super soft tyres on the Aston Martin. They're going to be pretty chewed up by the end of this stint, so keep an eye on that one. That could be another pit stop required. Gecko Racer filled to the end of the race on these soft tyres, so he should have good pace in that car. And Melty's making his way back through the field. Those soft tyres looking very second hand on Melty's car right now. Ant Smasher keeping himself out of trouble in second position. Ian Evo, we've got a bit of a battle going on now for 8th, 9th and 10th. Ian Evo versus Sean versus Dynamic Styles. So Ian Evo heads this battle right now. Sean is in the middle and Dynamic Styles to the outside. It's going to be a three-way battle into this braking zone. Dynamic Styles squeezed to the inside. He managed to just slow that one down and gather that one up. Is that being joined for? It's a four-way battle now. Gorilla Gaz is joining in with this action here through Death Chicane. The first part of Death Chicane is easy. The second part is where all the death happens, and we're going to see them file through there. Nicely done from all of the drivers there, looking pretty solid. Back with it now, Ian Evo on the brakes into the final corner. It looks like those medium tyres are almost expired, and Dynamic Styles is running very close behind. Still carrying damage, but on those soft tyres, he's going to need a pit stop. There's not a chance that fuel is going to make the end of the race for Dynamic Styles. Gorilla Gaz is just sitting back and waiting for anything to happen. And is there going to be a pass into the first corner? It looks like Dynamic Styles is going to go to the outside. He's going to think better of that one. Ian Evo just defending. Sean has passed these guys and he's making a break for it. Fantastic driving so far. He's on some solid, superb soft tyres, and he should be making his way forwards. Ian Evo in that green Corvette, he's got a severe tyre disadvantage compared to Dynamic Styles, but Dynamic Styles is carrying damage, so this could be a fair fight. Both of them will need to pit again for fuel. Gorilla Gaz sitting back there in 10th position, doesn't need to pass them on the racetrack. They will be passed in the pits based on them needing to take more fuel to finish this race off. On the brakes, it looks like pretty even for both drivers. Dynamic Styles goes to the inside actually, so they're going to go side by side through the first part of the Death Chicane. Dynamic Styles backs out of that one. He thinks better of doing the risky manoeuvre. He's going to follow Ian Evo through the Death Chicane. A clip of the wall was that, or was that lag? It's hard to tell. Damage was already on that Aston Martin, and this is the battle on the track right now. So we've got Dynamic Styles versus Ian Evo. Dynamic Styles carrying damage. Is he going to pit? He's going to pit for fuel. He's going to try and get an undercut. So this will be an interesting battle between Dynamic Styles and Ian Evo. We're going to stay with Ian Evo. It's likely Ian Evo will pit on the next lap for fuel and tyres. So this is a time trial race now. Ian Evo needs the best lap he can out of these medium tyres before he pits. I'm going to try and find Dynamic Styles. He's putting fuel in that car. Depends how much fuel these guys put in, and will he fix damage? That could cost him some time exiting the pits. So he's going to exit the pits on the soft tyres. Fuel to the end of the race. I've got to say, there's quite a lot of fuel, and some weird graphics going on there with the tyre usage, but they are brand new racing soft tyres. So we're going to watch Dynamic Styles outlap. He's got a fresh car, fully fixed up, fully fueled, brand new set of soft tyres, and we'll see what he can do out of the pits. He needs an absolute quality lap now to make up for that repairs he had to do in the pits. So Mew Mew also to the pits. Let's see how that one plays out for Mew Mew. I thought he might have been able to stretch that to the end of the race, but it's probably too much to ask for fuel saving. It is a bit of a power track, so you're going to be finding it very difficult to save fuel when you don't have slipstream from other cars. Let's just look forward to see if Ian Evo will be going to the pits now. So Ian Evo is going to come into the final corner now. Gorilla Gaz still hot on his heels. The red fuel light is on for Ian Evo. Is he going to go one more? He is going to go one more. He's happy with his pace on the track. He doesn't feel the need for any fresh tyres, so he's going to go one more. 32 minutes through this race, and Ant Smasher running in 10th position, and he's ready, filled and tired to the end of the race now. Pits on the pit wall there, you see the pit crew walking up and down. So Grandpa Goes Gaming is very short on fuel. He's going to take those soft tyres, super soft tyres, off this McLaren F1, fill to the end of the race, and then put in solid lap times to finish that race. Also in the pits we've got Giba. He'll be fueling to the end of the race too. Mackie RS running in 14th position. A little bit of front damage on that car still, and he might need to pit for fuel. He's not going to pit this lap. Heat Seeker through the Death Chicane. Let's ride on board to see how this one goes. And he's got a bit late on the brakes, but he's managed to not make any severely impact with the wall. Good recovery from Heat Seeker. Once you've got a little bit wrong going through there, it's normally always a crash, so it's a great avoidance there from Heat Seeker. Mew Mew is in the pits. He has damage, so maybe he's hit Death Chicane. Pit crew don't know what they're doing. I think Mew Mew will probably be on the radio to the pit crew complaining about the setup of that Porsche. He's just not looked himself so far this race. Mew Mew, has to be said, is a super fast driver on the controller. Currently in the top 10 at Race C this week, but with these Group 3 cars and tuning enabled, a bit of a head scratch. Pit crew don't really know what they're doing. Is he going to retire the car? Let's see how that one plays out. To the head of the field now, Philo with a 0.3 second penalty now, so that penalty is decreasing, and he will need a pit stop. Look at that fuel on that car, there's no chance that's making the end of the race. Baz is just coming onto the start-finish straight as Philo exits the start-finish straight. Again, fuel is required for Baz, so they are both on a two-stop strategy. And yeah, 35 minutes through this race, Lucky Bucky is not going to get to the end of the race on that fuel tank. So again, another pit stop required for Lucky Bucky, which is going to be very interesting because Gecko Racer, it looks like, now I may have missed it, but I think he's only had one pit stop. So I think Gecko Racer's gone for a conservative strategy. As we see, the car just getting out of the way there. Grandpa Goes Gaming, nice awareness there as Gecko Racer puts a lap on him. Almost loses it through the chicane into turn 1, but managed to keep control. So yeah, it looks like Gecko Racer is playing the long game here. He's going for a one-stop strategy, I think. Let me know in the comments below if I've got that wrong. I can only remember seeing one pit stop from Gecko Racer. Looking at Kevman now, 5th place, so it has to be said, best race of the season for Kevman, I think. Coming back strong after unable to attend the previous round. Gorilla Gaz is now up to 6th position from nowhere really, and that fuel looks marginal. He's got another 15 minutes to go, just 14 minutes maybe. Can he pull it off? That's what I want to know. So in the pits now, we've got Philo who's getting some fresh tyres. Not sure what tyres he'll go for. He's going to need to fill it to the end of the race, so 15 minutes worth of fuel. Be interesting to see how much fuel that will be on that fuel gauge. That will give us an idea of it's over half a tank of fuel, so I think that means that Baz to the pits as well, as he's going to put some more fuel in that car as well. This is Baz's replay, so we get to see Baz's fuel tank go up live, so just about half a tank of fuel to get to the end of the race. Lucky Bucky to the pits as well, so the pit stops are all happening now for these drivers. The race is now starting to take shape, and pit stop and fuel for Lucky Bucky, which means Kevman is probably going to make it to the end of the race. He's got over about half a tank of fuel. Is he going to beat Lucky Bucky out of the pits? So Lucky Bucky exiting the pits now. Keep a look out for Kevman, who may pass. He's just going to pass there. So brand new tyres for Lucky Bucky, although he's on soft versus Kevman on the super soft. That could be an interesting battle towards the end of the race. We'll keep an eye on that one. Lucky Bucky exiting the pits. And Gecko Racer on Baz. There we go. That's an interesting battle now. So Gecko Racer versus Baz. That is to finish the race. They are going to battle now. So Gecko Racer, I think, has played the one-stop strategy versus Baz's two-stop strategy. Lucky Bucky is looking to chase down Kevman maybe. Ant Smasher promoted to 6th position. Melty to 7th. He's done well to recover from that early severe incident. And he has pitted and he's fueled to the end of the race. So Melty versus Ant Smasher, who might not make that on fuel. That's going to be marginal. Sean is fueled to the end of the race on super soft tyres, so should have good pace in that car. Dynamic Styles fueled to the end of the race and on soft tyres. So a fast driver is Dynamic Styles, one of the Race Asylum team drivers. Takes part in the Mega Team versus Team for Race Asylum and is very often near the front of the field. So superb racing from Dynamic Styles in those events. Ian Evo should make it to the end of the race on those super soft tyres. Dropped down the order a little bit. I didn't quite see why that is. Gorilla Gaz, he must have pitted. Shame for Gaz. I thought he could have made the end of the race, but I think he had to pit for that one. Grandpa Goes Gaming in 12th position. Giba in 13th. Looks like he's good for the end of the race. Mackie RS good to the end of the race as well. And Heatseeker is running in 15th position. Good to the end of the race. Mew still under. Well, what's going on, Mew? Pit crew don't have a clue what to do. I thought they would have retired that car by now, but it looks like Mew is going to just park it up, chill out in that driver's seat until the end of the race. So Philo with that 0.3 still, a bit of a swaz on corner exit for Philo, and it looks like Baz is actually starting to gap Gecko Racer, so it looks like the tyre advantage that Baz has with that two-stop strategy is going to play into his hands. So Gecko Racer is going to look to hope for mistakes from any of the drivers at the head of the field. This race is not over until they cross the line. With Death Chicane, anything can happen. Now we've got Kevman versus Lucky Bucky. Tables have turned compared to the battle for second and third. The driver behind has the faster tyre, arguably. Super softs versus softs. Super softs are quite worn. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. So we've got 10 minutes left in the race. It's a gap of, I'm going to call it 2 seconds. GT Sport doesn't give me the luxury of calling out the gaps for me, but I'm saying 2 seconds. Ant Smasher versus Melty. This is a good one. This is looking through Death Chicane here. How's this one going to play out? And lag through there. Both drivers got through safely, but the lag on the replay camera is making it look a bit weird. But both drivers safely through there. So see how this one plays out as the race goes on into the final stages of this race. Sean versus Dynamic Styles is still going on, both in Aston Martins, but one of them is in the DBR9 versus the V12. I'm not sure which one has the top speed advantage between these two cars. Dynamic Styles is in the slipstream and he's going to go to the inside of that corner, which gives him the outside into the braking zone, and he's going to sweep around the outside of Sean. Good respect from both drivers shown there. When drivers battling side by side, it's good to see both drivers giving the racing room they both deserve. So fantastic work from both drivers there. They hit Melty is starting to close into the back of Ant Smasher, but he was a bit close to the previous lap. They are going to approach some lap traffic as severe lag from Ant Smasher. That's not going to show us the true gap really. A bit of internet connection problems maybe. As the battle for fourth position is on right now. Yeah, Lucky Bucky is going to go to the outside for this first corner, which gives him the inside for the chicane. How's this one going to play out? Is Kevman going to make a return move? He's going to go to the inside, get on the brakes, just show a nose there, but Lucky Bucky is not going to be put off by that, and it looks like Lucky Bucky has secured that fourth position. Still a fantastic race so far from Kevman. I like what I'm seeing so far. It's consistent lap times, and Lucky Bucky with some very quick lap times there actually. Maybe Dragon Trail Seaside is a track that Lucky Bucky is strong with. I saw in the feed there, pits for Ant Smasher, so that's going to mean a pit stop's going to drop him down the order a little bit of fuel in the car, new set of tyres. It's going to promote Gorilla Gaz, I think, as he comes onto the main straight. I had to just take a bit of water there because 50 minutes commentating this race, it's a long race. A lot of action has been happening on the track, and Gorilla Gaz is not quite going to make that. Philo is going to put a move on Ant Smasher. Great awareness from Ant Smasher there. Let's look forward to see where the battles are happening. So Philo is looking quite comfortable in the lead here, it has to be said. Almost a flag to flag victory for Philo. Back to the dominant form that we saw him in round one at Monza. Baz with a solid drive, only fifth on the grid I think it was for Baz, but he's made a great start. I think right from lap one he battled through the order and is making that two-stop strategy work. Gecko Racer on the alternate, probably one-stop strategy. He's making that work for him, although he doesn't have the tyres under that car to battle with Baz. Lucky Bucky, let's see how far Lucky Bucky is behind. There's a bit of a gap between Lucky Bucky and Gecko Racer. So it looks like that could be your podium, barring any severe incidents at Death Chicane, which cannot be discounted. It looks like top 3 are pretty settled. I'm not sure Kevman has the tyres in that car anymore to put a charge on, and Melty to the pits with severe damage. I'm saying that's a Death Chicane incident. Let me know in the live chat in the comments below if you think that's a casualty of the Death Chicane. So he's going to have to pit, severe engine damage. Where's that going to put him out? And he's going to exit the pits in 10th position, and he's got Gorilla Gaz a little bit too far ahead now, but he will be on super soft tyres. He didn't change tyres, it was only pit for damage, which I guess it's a 4-second tyre change, maybe not required. But yeah, Melty has the pace but just didn't execute the race. He'll bounce back strong for the next round, I'm sure. Ian Evo was battling nearer the front in the mid part of this race. But yeah, just how races play out, it can really you can't guarantee how a race is going to go. Certainly when you're in the mid-pack, certainly when you're battling hard, the smallest mistakes can just cascade into huge errors, and certainly at this very difficult Dragon Trail Seaside track. Deba is running in 13th position, Mackie RS to 14th, and Heatseeker is in 15th position. Mew Mew, we know the story, he's retired that car, he doesn't want to drive it anymore, not happy with the setup on the car, and he'll bounce back strong for the final round at Spa in a week's time. Philo at the front of the field with no penalty for the first time in quite a long time. Baz is looking solid in that NSX. It seems to be a car that he's managed to get the setup work done on that now, so I think the earlier rounds were not suited to that NSX, but certainly in the last couple of rounds Baz has really showed some pace in that car. Gecko Racer doing the one-stop strategy, looking to bring it home towards the end of the race. Kevman, great race so far for Kevman. Let's just figure this one out. Lucky Bookie 5th, Kevman 4th. That's a change. I thought Lucky Bookie had the advantage on Kevman, so at some point we've missed that, and that's a pit stop. I think there's been a death at the Death Chicane for Lucky Bookie. Let us know in the comments below or the live chat what happened there, because that's a significant difference in time. That is a pit stop's worth of time, and he's got brand new super soft tyres on that car, so unbelievable stuff. Lucky Bookie with looking fantastic to get a 4th position, now finds himself in 5th position, probably with severe damage, but he has got brand new super soft tyres on now. Could it be possible to get fastest lap of the race? Let's see how this one's going to play out. Let's see what the first split time ends up being for Lucky Bookie in that Aston Martin. He attacks that curve, bounces over the curve quite nicely, exits this difficult right-hander, and the split time is going to be 0.3 down on his best, so a bit of a scrappy lap so far it seems. Dynamic Styles is up to 6th position. I've got to say that's a fantastic recovery drive, because Dynamic Styles had an absolute nightmare towards the start of the race, and for him to be able to recover to 6th position is quite something. Severe damage at some point. I think there was 2 lots of damage, so the pit stop has been heavily used by Dynamic Styles, but he's finding himself in 6th position. Sean with a fantastic drive again, a great drive last week, and another solid drive this week for Sean, and we're going to start to go through Death Chicane now, see how these ones go through there nicely, and fantastic stuff from these drivers. They're getting used to the danger of Death Chicane. Ant Smasher in 8th position, red light on the fuel. He's going to have to keep an eye on that fuel to get it to the finish, so it's just over a minute to go. That'll probably be this lap and one more. Oh, he's hit the Death Chicane. We saw one live on the stream. Absolute nightmare from Ant Smasher. That is severe damage, and he's gonna have to pit to get that fixed, I think. Huge F in the chat for Ant Smasher. It's going to give Gorilla Gaz that 8th position, and is he going to have to pit? It's a tough decision because the race is almost over. If he just gets across the line, I'm not sure what's the best thing to do for Ian Evo's quite a long way behind. Let's look. Ant Smasher is going to go to the pits. So is this one going to have an effect on the outcome of the race? Back to the head of field now. Philo is probably on his final lap. Let's run through what will probably be the finishing order. So Philo with the win, Baz with second place, barring any death at the Death Chicane. Gecko Racer in third position, making that one-stop strategy work. Kevman sneaking back into fourth position after that damage from Lucky Bucky, I think. Lucky Bucky just through the chicane. He probably won't make the extra lap. Dynamic Styles is looking short on fuel, but he'll be crossing the line to finish the race. And then we've got Sean in 7th position. So that is racing to the line for these two drivers. Is he going to go for a big dive at the end? Sean thinks better of it. Drag race to the line, out of the corner. Dynamic Styles has gone wide. They're going to go drag race to the line. Who's going to get this one? Sean is just going to miss out. Fantastic driving for both those drivers. Gorilla Gaz through Death Chicane, and he's going to put a lap on Mackie RS. Good awareness from Mackie RS. Ian Evo in 9th position. Ant Smasher recovering in 10th position. They Help Melty in 11th. Lost some time there, it seems, and some damage. So something happened towards the end of that race. Grandpa Goes Gaming, 12th position. Giba in 13th, Mackie RS 14th, Heatseeker in 15th position, Mew Mew in the pits, and that's going to conclude this race. I hope you enjoyed the race. If you have enjoyed it, check out the description below for the Race Asylum Discord, and we'll catch you in the next one. No, we're not finished yet. Gecko Race is still to finish as he crosses the line now. A little bit too premature there, but if you have enjoyed this, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.